Hello, Durud and Shalom, and Hola, and Namaste. Hi, guys.
Namaste, namaste, hola, hola.
Hi, guys. Oh, by the way, guys, we're also live on Guy's channel, and people were like, where is Guy? If we're live on Guy's channel, where is he? He said he's going to join. He's just going to be a bit late, but Guy will join us as well at some point. So we're just going to get an update on what's happening. Before we go to more serious stuff, just wanted to make sure we're all on the same page really quickly. So let's just watch this really quick.
Yeah, hey guys, good morning. I just got off the phone with President Trump, who discussed the situation with Iran as the 60-day memorandum of understanding expires. The president told Fox News Iran should raise the white flag of surrender. He went on to say, I have no time schedule. I'm not in a hurry. The president indicating that the U.S. naval blockade is continuing to put new economic pressure on the Iranian regime, despite what...
All right, so guys, every time I come here, I come from the Persian channel, and I'm watching Meet the Media inside Iran and what people on both sides are talking about inside Iran. When he says the blockade is putting pressure, I don't know if people understand how bad things are getting. Like, it is working, and it's working a lot. Everything is breaking apart more than most people realize. Like, it's painful, very painful right now inside Iran. It's devastating. Everybody's getting hurt, except
Can I ask a question about that?
Yes, of course.
I know that pretty much is this what destroyed the middle class? And does it affect, like, even from the far reaches in the country, which was maybe never that, integrated, all the way to the big city? I'm sure in the big city, but like, is it hitting everywhere?
Yes, and yes. To the point where some people are saying there is no middle class left. You're either rich and you're not feeling this, or you have now stopped being middle class and you're poor.
If they just got lowered, they're going to be very resentful.
Of who?
Of the IRGC for getting them in trouble. Like, if you're in the middle class and the IRGC doing all this crazy shit just took you from middle to low class, I'm gonna guess you're not happy. You're pretty mad at the IRGC.
Yep. Yeah. It's interesting how very little people are blaming the United States. Like, there's not even that much of an attempt made to blame the United States, even though it's the U.S. blockade that is causing this and the economic fury. There is no appetite. Like, people are like, yeah, this is the Islamic Republic. Not even the regime supporters are motivated to say, like, the United States is doing this for us. There's three narratives. Either the anti-regime people that are saying this is because of the regime and the war that they brought to here, and the more jihadi people are either saying this is because of Pezeshkian's mismanagement and him, or if they're gonna want to get really spicy, they want to say that Pezeshkian is doing this on purpose to bring the next uprising, or they're saying that this is just the cost of fighting against the world evil that is Zionism and imperialism, Western imperialism, and we have to tolerate that. And it's interesting because among the jihadis now there's a division to say if this is because of the war and we chose this and we gladly pay the price. This is the temporary hardship that we have to go through to be able to fight against, this world evil. And the ones who are saying, like, no, this is not because of the war. We could completely manage this economically if we didn't have Pezeshkian in power. So,
but isn't he the scapegoat? Doesn't anybody say, wait, it's Galibov. This guy doesn't have any power. Or is Galibov never...
Galibov has managed to successfully remove himself from this conversation.
Okay, smart guy, I guess.
Yeah. So it's either Pezeshkian, or this is the price of fighting evil, or F you did this to us. This is because of the Islamic Republic. But it's interesting because I'm not saying people are saying, like, Americans are doing this to us. I mean, technically, what the narrative that says is that this is the price of fighting the world evil is technically blaming the Americans. but it's also at the same time admitting that we chose this, right? Which is
There's a
interesting.
parallel of this in Cuba. They blame
Oh,
like
okay.
Yeah.
Gaesa and Fidel.
Oh, Sherry gave us a super chat saying, "How are the people doing?" Not good, Sherry. Not good at all. And one thing is interesting because you see people spending more money right now on short-term pleasures, and some people think like this is a sign that things are good for some people. But it's also, but if you talk to them, it's a sign of them thinking that they have no future, so they might as well just finish enjoying life now, because there's going to be nothing left for them going forward. So this is a very depressing way to look at it. But everybody, like most people, are there hoping that somehow the regime collapses, and if it doesn't, they think they have nothing left to live for, so they might as well just live it as much as they can now.
So
yeah.
Pezeshkian emerging as the sort of primary scapegoat. I mean, this seems like would it have to be a sort of like a information war success of the IR's internal propaganda? No.
Yeah, I mean, that's his own purpose.
That's his role,
making him the
right?
That's his role. Yeah, that is his role. And
So-
hey, Guy is here. Hi, Guy. Oh, go ahead.
Hey, sorry I'm late.
What's up, guy?
That's okay. Go on, Sid. You were asking a question.
Yeah. So I'm wondering, like, what is their critique of Pezeshkian? Is it incompetence, or is it like, or do they think he's a sort of a Zionist asset?
So when they want to blame the things on Pezeshkian, there's two versions of it. Either these people are incompetent and they don't know what they're doing, but more likely they know what they're doing and this is on purpose. And then when they're knowing then that also gets divided into they're doing this on purpose to gain power for themselves against the risk, against the revolutionary Islamic part of the regime, or they're Zionists and they're doing this for the enemy, and they're doing this so that there's an uprising. So Pezeshkian already did this once and caused the early January uprising to create the conditions for the Americans and Israelis to attack to kill Ali Khamenei. They were hoping that Mujtaba Khamenei would die as well, and it failed. So now they're creating the conditions for another uprising so that they could get rid of Mujtaba as well. And they're doing this as agents of Zionists and Americans.
So I mean, I guess like I feel like this sort of factional festering is a positive sign.
Yes, I mean, yes. Hopefully, it will produce results soon because the people are like really suffering. Okay, let me play the rest of it, I guess.
The Iranians have said publicly. He said they're good poker players, but they're dying, and that the midterms in the United States have nothing to do with the president's thinking. Now, I asked the president about these parallel talks that are taking place between Iran and Oman about control of the Strait of Hormuz. And the president told Fox News, if Oman gets in the way, we'll bomb the S out of them. We went on to talk about a variety of different regional topics, including the U.S.
Again, guys, this is new. This is new. So President Trump just warned that they're going to bomb the S out of Oman a second time. This is unprecedented. I don't think Oman ever imagined that they're going to be threatened with bombardment by the United States.
U.S. stockpiles of weapons that are currently stationed in the Middle East. The president says what we've used so far is peanuts. He went on to say the United States has a lot of mid-level weapons and that many of the more advanced systems, the president says, were given away by President Biden to Ukraine, for example, when we're talking about air defense that is needed right now in the Middle East. The president also spoke about U.S. ally Israel.
By the way, Russia is really liking this. This is one of the reasons why Russia likes the war between United States and the Islamic Republic, because Russia thinks that would mean Ukraine would get less defense if United States spends it on the Islamic Republic.
Can I respond to that
Yeah,
real
remember-
quick?
Yes, of course. Go ahead.
So And another thing is oil. Like if oil prices rise, then theoretically Russia should be able to benefit from that because they're also a net exporter. But at the same time, there are analyses that even if Ukraine doesn't get any new defenses, like the Russian missiles are just not enough. Like they'll be able to damage like 3% of the structures in Ukraine, which sucks, but it's not going to change the war. Like Russia's losing, and that's not changing.
Right. Yeah, but it still helps.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
His son-in-law and top negotiator Jared Kushner is in the region. He met yesterday with Khalil al-Hayya, the current Hamas chief in Egypt, and the president.
Oh, so okay. So, Guy, what do you think about this? Jared Kushner directly met with Hamas chief in Egypt. Are people in Egypt upset about the direct talk between United States and the head of the #1 terrorist group that has caused October 7th? Is that okay? Not okay? Does that normalize recognizing terrorist leadership? Right, like this is like a high official of the United States sitting down with the head of Hamas. Doesn't that give them official recognition?
So let me translate to you the message that came out of the Prime Minister's office after his meeting with Kushner today. That I think that'll answer your question. So after several hours, the meeting between Netanyahu and the heads of the Board of Peace has concluded. Among other things, the Prime Minister scolded Jared Kushner for meeting the heads of Hamas yesterday and told him that you have met the architect of the worst massacre to the Jewish people since the Holocaust. So yeah, this is not acceptable. And Netanyahu made sure to publicly announce that he scolded Jared Kushner because of how unacceptable it is. Now, is that a smart thing to say? Part of it is the election, right? He wants to appear, like he can draw a line to the Americans. I hope that this doesn't lead to any diplomatic escalation with Trump, because this is, he literally said scolded. Like that's like a dog. Or like a child. So the rhetoric here is very incendiary. We can do probably after this segment. We can talk about like what the end product of this meeting is. Or do you want me to do it now?
Do you think so? Would that be also an attack on Trump, in your opinion? The fact that because Jared Kushner wouldn't have done this without the say so of President Trump, like he's there because President Trump saying that to him. So do you think Bibi saying that against Jared Kushner is also indirectly him attacking Trump for this decision? And if
I
yes,
think
is
it's
it
the same. So I think it's the same as attacking Vance on policy. Like this is.
Wait, there is a difference, because Vance is giving his opinion, and him giving his opinion is not necessarily the president's opinion. But Jared Kushner,
but things like the MOU.
Yeah, but okay, but when Jared Kushner is meeting with the head of Hamas, obviously he's doing that because Trump told him to. So I think like this is a more direct attack on Trump, or am I?
No, I think the MOU is also like Trump gave it the go ahead. It's not necessarily like Kushner may have asked to meet with al-Hayya and Trump said okay. So like we don't know exactly whether Trump told him go meet with al-Hayya before you meet with Netanyahu. But either way, it's attacking the policy of the administration. The person in charge of the policy of the administration is Trump. So obviously they're not going to directly address Trump on this. But this seems like the Board of Peace over the last several weeks has done a lot of things that are unacceptable from an Israeli perspective. This new understanding with Hamas on how to proceed was never communicated with Israel. It was between the U.S. and Hamas. It doesn't meet Israel's minimum standards because Hamas, it essentially, even though they say it doesn't, it requires trusting Hamas to behave. And that's like trusting the IRGC to fulfill their end of their MOU. It's just you have to understand that these are people that operate in a different sphere. You can't trust them. And the Board of Peace apparently thinks different. so there are nuances there, but I won't talk about it right now because this is like a sidetrack. But at the end of the day, you can't let Hamas guard the weapons that it's supposedly dearmed, or like on a demilitarized Gaza means there's no weapons in Gaza. You can't just store them and hope for the best. So the understandings, the original understandings, were unacceptable, and then Kushner was shocked that no one in Israel, even the opposition, was willing to go along with the plan. Like, their understanding of the situation appears to be very low. Israel will never again trust in terrorists to be peaceful. That has happened over the last 30 years. That's never happening again, ever. And no politician in Israel, Hamas is planning a new October 7th. The new security understanding of Israel is that they are going to try to kill us whenever possible, and we should not judge them by what we think their intentions are. We should judge them based on their capability. Now, obviously, that's limited. You can't judge every single country in the world based on the capability. But let's start with the Palestinians. You can definitely do that to the Palestinians, and the kind of program that the Board of Peace came up with Hamas was, one, in direct contradiction to a lot of the things that the original 20-point plan by Trump said, and two, does not meet the minimum criteria that Israel would ever be able to accept, no matter who's the prime minister.
Okay, so really quickly, I just want to highlight a few comments that I start, and so Sean is saying this is all part of a 5D chess to fool the IRGC. So there's not real disagreement between basically President Trump and Netanyahu's administration. I disagree with that. So this is. So somebody says so somebody responded saying 5D chess my ass, and somebody else is saying we can't assume Trump supported it, so maybe Jared Kushner did this on their own. And another comment here by Stefan is saying there is no such thing as 5D chess. That's a bunch of hopeful wishing with zero evidence or data to prove your argument. Literally no different than the crazy people on the left. Okay, so what is your take on this? And then after that, we'll see if Sid and Monkey wanted to mention anything on this. And then,
so the way I like to put it is that Trump does do 5D chess, but no higher. So, like, some of the moves here would be like 6D chess, 7D chess, 8D chess. We have seen Trump do 5D chess before February 28th. The fact, and I was shocked that he actually got everyone to be in a single building or 3 single buildings, and they were all bombed at the same time. So he is able to do some sophisticated moves. Okay, this has been proven because he has done them. He has also managed to get Hamas to release all of the hostages. Again, something that no one here has ever thought would be possible, and that's one of the reasons. Like, the Americans keep saying to us, "Listen, we say they're never going to disarm. They're never going to disarm. Obviously, they're not going to disarm." And they say, and they're right. You also thought they would never bring back all the hostages, and they did. So give us some leeway. Trust us on this. And so there are several reasons we're continuing with the process. One is to not be the party that destroys it, because we know that Hamas is going to break it. So might as well wait until they break it and then attack. And two, even if they give up some of the arms, that's still less arms than we have to deal with until when we do finally have to go in. So Trump is able to do 5D chess moves. He is able to troll the trolls, but there are things that are not everything is 5D chess, and you can also have legitimate disagreements between the administrations. This doesn't help. Like, the RGC is never falling for the same trick again. You can do these media things. Doesn't help anyone on either side. So you could maybe argue midterms, because Netanyahu is fighting with the ultra-Orthodox right now for media purposes. So you could argue maybe this is what's happening, but it's not related to Iran.
Okay, so quickly, let's see if, because Sid and Monkey, if you guys want to add anything to any of this, and then we'll go to the rest of the video.
Yeah, I was gonna ask about the election. How much is this? Look at me, I'm Netanyahu. I'm the only one that's gonna be able to get U.S. from starting negotiating with everyone. The other one you already touched on. Like, is this like the art of the deal? Okay, we're gonna you have to give up you can keep the guns. Okay, you can't keep all the guns, but you got to give up at least the big ones. Okay, you got to give up also the mortars because we can't have mortars, but you could keep like for security some Kalashnikovs and pistols. Like you already kind of touched on that. As long as we got a son of them out, it's a win. Like, okay, definitely got to get rid of the rocket. So yeah, as a sign of good, good intent. Can you give up the rock, like that kind of stuff? But I was wondering how much is to do with the elections. How much of this is like Netanyahu is our guy. He's the only one that's going to be able to scold them. He's the only one that's going to even be able to get in the room because they don't know anybody else. Would that play as a factor?
So,
Yes. So
Guy, can you keep the answer short because I want to make sure we
succinct,
get
yes.
it as well. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
So the understanding by Israel for the last few months was that this is essentially the idea to get them to get rid of some of the arms at least before Israel goes in. And the other side is yes, absolutely. Like the reason for the harsh messaging, the scold, the usage of the word scold is absolutely to do with the Israeli election.
Yeah, because we don't care if they say, "Oh, they scolded us." Oh, boo! Oh, that hurts so much. Oh my God, my image. Someone scolded me. They don't care. But it might play very good in Israel.
Yeah.
Okay,
Trump did
Sid?
say he's not supporting anyone yet for the election. He might in the future, but so far he's not supporting anyone, which I think is different than last time. Last time he supported Netanyahu.
Okay, Sid.
So I think I mean I don't know, like if we're speculating about whether or not Kushner went on his own or with Trump's blessing, I mean I think that's pretty obvious that he went with Trump's blessing. I would really find it hard to believe that he would be on camera with al-Sisi and a member of Hamas and a Hamas leader without clearing it with administration officials. So that seems kind of silly. I agree with Monkey that the scolding thing is kind of a storm in a teacup. I mean, I don't even know. Like, I didn't even hear about it. I think it's sort of the expected response from an Israeli official on something like they have to say this. So I don't expect this to turn into a diplomatic conflict. I'm very torn about like whether this is a good idea or not. Like, I mean, there's no trusting Hamas. I don't think there's no good faith negotiation with Hamas. Like, those things are impossible. So the one way we could interpret it, though, is that this is more like it's a sort of like a kinetic war of attrition has moved to a sort of diplomatic war of attrition, right? We know who Hamas is, and we know that Hamas is, like, at least speaking from an Israeli perspective, Israel knows that Hamas is their enemy, and that their intention, Hamas's intention, long term, is to continue to fight and continue to be an irritant and continue to cause problems for Israel. So no amount of talking and no amount of diplomatic posturing is going to change that. This is in their DNA. So, but the question is, like, okay, we know that they want what they want to do. We know their long-term aims, and our long-term aims from an Israeli perspective is to undermine Hamas and to isolate Hamas and to compromise their capability to do their own goals. And can there be some talking and negotiation in that process? Yes, there can be. There can be, as long as we're cognizant that that's what's going on. There can be. I mean, I think it's very interesting just to look at this. Okay, al-Sisi is sitting right there, and al-Sisi's posture is Muslim Brotherhood for thee and not for me, right? So this is very convenient for him as well, right? He's looking at it and saying like, "Oh, this is great. Like, I'm cooperating with Hamas, even though Hamas is my enemy too, right? But my cooperation with Hamas is allowing me to direct the Hamas problem to Israel, right? So everybody here is playing a dirty game, and I hope that Kushner is also playing a dirty game. I hope that that's the case. Right. If it's not, then it's sheer incompetence. But I don't think that he's incompetent. But yeah, I mean, if he thinks like, okay, we can talk, we can come to some agreement, we can shift the future of Gaza towards some sort of prosperous future, he's out of his mind.
Can I quickly respond to that into one comment?
Yeah, just quickly, guys. I saw some people were asking for guys' YouTube channel. All the links to all the YouTube channels are in the description. Monkeys, guys, Liberty Politics, and soon Sid's YouTube channel will also be in the description. So find the links always in the description. Go on, Guy.
So in terms of people are saying no, Deborah is saying I'm certain Kushner is incompetent. He's not incompetent. He's the architect of the Abraham Accords. He's very adept at deal making. This is a deal-making administration. We have to put that to remember that. The deals are like their go-to, but they are, so far, the Board of Peace has been receptive to Israel's hesitance about some of these things. And so moved its positions. Okay, Israel is now withdrawing after Hamas finishes disarming, so that's great. So you can give it a chance to disarm as long as we don't have to withdraw in lockstep. And also, Israel has recently resumed attacks on Hamas. This is apparently with a tacit acceptance of the Board of Peace because Hamas has not been fulfilling its end of the deal. And the last point is that Trump can handle criticism from Netanyahu and vice versa, and they can utilize it to help themselves in the elections. Yes, and Netanyahu actually said in a recent long-form interview he did that his relationship with Trump is like a family relationship, in the sense that like they're very close, they call each other by their first name, and they can be very blunt with each other, and it's like okay because they're comfortable with each other. So that could be actually a sign of a close relationship, the fact that he can criticize each other this openly.
Or like we always have to consider the other side as well. It could be real tension out between them, and they're trying to cover it. Netanyahu is trying to cover it. That is also an option.
It was also a Hebrew interview, so he has an incentive in saying that.
Yes, guys, if you are considering the most optimistic 5D chess plan, also consider the most pessimistic as well. Let's not just be one-sided with all of this. But let's finish this video before we go to the super chat.
Said that they have a different channel with Hamas and that ultimately they are giving up their guns, talking about the demilitarization of the Gaza Strip. I asked the president about the upcoming Israeli elections in October, and President Trump told Fox News, I think it's most appropriate for me to stay out of Israeli elections, but I may endorse somebody. And so a lot of headlines here. The president talking about the latest in terms of the Strait of Hormuz and the Iranian regime that at this moment appears unwilling to reach a diplomatic solution with the United States. Guys?
Trey, it also looked like we got an answer from the president about what is priority number one for the United States. Is it the nuclear weapon or getting the gas prices down? He responded to that on True Social.
Yeah, the president posted on True Social, and he was very clear that ensuring that Iran never has a nuclear weapon is the number one priority for the United States. I asked the president about the communication with the Iranians, and interestingly, President Trump confirmed to Fox News that there is a back channel with the IRGC. These are the hardline officials inside of Iran, and that the United States and officials in Washington are speaking directly with IRGC officials in Iran. This is another indication that the Trump administration is not just dealing with the political echelon in Tehran, but also some of these hardliners that have launched attacks against U.S. forces and, of course, in the Strait of Hormuz. But the critical headline here.
So this is important because this was reported by Axios, and people are like, oh, we can't trust Axios. But then President Trump came and confirmed it. So the Trump administration established in mid-May a secret back channel to the IRGC directly to Vahidi through Barzani, which is basically the president of the Kurdistan region in Iraq. So this guy was in charge of being the middle guy between not Ghalibaf and the United States, but Vahidi himself and United States. But apparently, again, they say Vahidi rejected that. Apparently the Americans found out that Vahidi was also interested in coming up with an agreement with the Americans. Their intelligence showed that. So they're like, okay, why are we talking to Ghalibaf and Ghalibaf to the IRGC when we could go directly talk to the IRGC? So let's go find a way to contact Vahidi through this guy, the Barzani guy. And apparently they say Vahidi rejected that and said go through the negotiating team like Ghalibaf. I don't know if we could buy that. That's what actually happened or not. But that's the report. Any thoughts on that?
Armin, is Barzani PKK related, or is he a more neutral, non-Iranian?
I mean, they're all. So he's Iraqi, right? He's supposed to be not. Yeah. I mean, officially, they're supposed to be not in support of anybody that is challenging the border integrity of Iran. Like officially, they should be against that. But when it comes to connections, they're all connected, right? But officially, these are people who want to. Because if he was supporting actual separatists against against the Islamic Republic, then that would be a declaration of war against the Islamic Republic, which would invite so much aggression against. I mean, they already get so much aggression by the Islamic Republic bombing different areas in the Kurdistan region, but the Islamic Republic says that we are not doing that to attack these people. We're attacking the separatists that are hiding in the Kurdistan region. But officially, they're supposed to be friends with each other. Like officially, they have. So this is the reason why they chose this. Barzani is known to have good relationship with the Islamic Republic, so not supportive of separatists, and he's supposed to have like somewhat of a good relationship with IRGC and the United States. So that's why they picked him as the middle guy.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. So, okay. Let's continue. Oh, wait.
The Iranians. He said there is no timeline. And so this 60-day window that is expiring today is largely irrelevant in terms of the president's thinking as it relates to Iran. And again, he indicated the United States has a lot of mid-level weapons to use if they're needed in the future. But he calls on the Iranians to raise the white flag of surrender. And again, as this moves forward here, there are these parallel talks taking place between Iran and Oman. The president warning Oman not to get in the way of the U.S. naval blockade and the efforts to control the Strait of Hormuz. And we know that that naval blockade is costing the Iranian regime hundreds of millions of dollars each day.
Can I speak on this?
It's economic pressure.
Yes, of course.
Remember when I told you a blockade is not a blockade if everyone in the Persian Gulf is in their ports? Is this what this is about? Oman is sending things to Iran? Not interfering in the blockade. Why are you interfering in the blockade? We don't want stuff getting to their ports. Are you sending stuff to their ports? Are you taking stuff from their ports?
So I think the Omanis are not capable of actually doing anything. I think the issue with the Omanis is that they're signaling that they might come up with an agreement. Maybe that's my understanding, but maybe I'm wrong. But the Omanis are actually not doing anything yet. They're just signaling to the Islamic Republic that they could come up with a framework that they both sides have an understanding, and that's what the United States doesn't like.
Okay.
The high activity and the high number of ships at the ports around Iran might also be because there's nowhere for them to go because of the blockade. That's why you might see a lot of ships just hanging around there because there's nowhere to go.
No, but I see them like crossing. I see like ships going up and down out of Persian places.
Right. Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
Well, Persian Gulf.
Yeah. So the Omani side is outside of that area, right? The Omani side is the east of the Strait of Hormuz, not in the Persian Gulf. It's in the Gulf of Oman, right? So
that is a great point.
Yeah,
but I think it still might be north of the blockade line.
North of the blockade line? You mean in Iran? What do you
No,
mean?
so
East of-
the blockade,
Like the blockade is outside both, is what he's saying.
yeah. So I
Yes.
think Oman's port might be above the blockade line, like above the U.S. enforced blockade line.
So they can get to Iran.
So they can't. Yeah, that's. I mean, I think so, but I mean, I guess we have to check that. But
the
that's my-
blockade is really far out. It covers
Right.
everything. Yeah.
No,
Yes.
but what I'm saying is that the blockade. Yeah. So the question is, can Oman ship to Iran and back and forth, right, without
Yes.
interfering with the blockade?
Yes, but not on the Persian
And-
Gulf side. On the Gulf of Oman side, the east of Strait of Hormuz. But yeah, go on. Sorry, guy. Yeah.
And I just checked. Apparently, they export both crude and refined oil. So if it was just crude, then that doesn't matter. Like Iran is not in need of more crude oil. But if they can transfer refined oil, that can deal
Right.
with the gas issues, at least somewhat, like mitigate it.
Right. And the U.S. blockade is not stopping that, because the U.S. blockade is stopping things that are coming in and out rather than things that are going north and south.
That's my criticism. I want everything to. I want not one boat in an Iranian port, not one, not from the outside.
Yeah, I mean, I think as it stands, I mean, it's probably just so overwhelmingly tempting for Oman to monetize the desperation of Iran with regards to energy.
It's going to be hard to stop that, because the U.S. blockade is not like inside the Persian Gulf and inside the Gulf of Oman. They're
Yeah.
just standing back there and like you shall not pass from this area. But
We can
if they want to
shoot
stop
with
all
a jet the engine of every single ship that goes from the outside into Iran, and then okay, you want to go there, but you're gonna get stuck there.
Yeah. So my understanding, which might be wrong, is that the level of involvement and military operation required to stop everything going south and north would be like so much higher than the current blockade. But yes.
I don't know. You shoot 10 of them, they'll stop. Or they're slow so much that hitting the next one's gonna be easier to see.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, let's play the risk and then we go to the super chat.
Coupled with the sanctions that are expected to be announced this week by the U.S. Treasury, it's adding more domestic pressure on the regime and those officials in Tehran to change their behavior, possibly come back to the negotiating table, as a lot of rhetoric is still floating around the Middle East.
You know, one thing I have not heard, Trey, is about the Red Sea and the Houthi rebels. I know them and Saudi Arabia are exchanging attacks, but is the Red Sea considered open?
For who? For Chinese? Yes. For Saudis? No.
At this moment, there is still quite a bit of traffic passing through the Red Sea, but last week, the Iran-backed Houthis in Yemen did launch a number of attacks on vessels there. They've also been targeting the Mocha port. This is a government-owned port from the Yemeni government, and they hit it with so many missiles and drones over the weekend that the port authority stopped all commercial activity at that location. Remember, President Trump warned the Houthis against getting directly involved in the fight. And the president also spoke about the Iranian proxies across the region. He spoke about Hezbollah in southern Lebanon and also about Hamas inside Gaza. He said specifically about Gaza, and again, this is important in relation to the meeting that is taking place as we speak in Jerusalem between Jared Kushner and Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu. He said the Israelis should not be striking in Gaza, because he says Hamas has agreed to lay down their weapons after that meeting yesterday in Egypt between senior Hamas leadership and Jared Kushner, along with the American mediators on the ground. And so, again, there's a lot of moving parts here, but
does this cause or does not cause frustration? This statement
Jared
over here.
Kushner and Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu, he said the Israelis should not be striking in Gaza because
The Israelis should not be. First of all, would that affect Israel's behavior in Gaza? And do Israelis get frustrated hearing this, saying that they shouldn't be hitting in Gaza, or not?
I believe there was a strike since. I could be wrong, like in timing wise. But either way, Netanyahu clarified, like another thing he clarified after meeting with Kushner is that we're not stopping the attacks because Hamas is trying to rearm. They have presented irrefutable intelligence to Kushner and the Board of Peace, showing that Hamas is trying to rearm, and the agreement that Israel will not strike in Gaza for 2 weeks was an agreement that is conditional on Hamas not arming itself either in the 2-week period that is supposed to lead up to its first step of giving up its arms. And apparently, the strikes were with the approval of the Americans and or the Board of Peace because of Hamas not keeping its end of the deal. So this to me
nice.
sounds like, again, posturing for election.
Okay. Yeah, so Trump could be signaling like, look, I'm wagging my finger at Israel, so we're not being controlled by Israelis. I'm wagging. Look how hard I'm wagging. And also Bibi is like, look, I'm wagging my fingers. Look at this. We're not being controlled by the Americans. We're making our own decisions, right? So kind of like that for both elections. Like Americans are trying to signal that we're not being controlled by Israelis, and basically the same thing. Right. Okay.
He says Hamas has agreed to lay down their weapons after that meeting yesterday in Egypt between senior Hamas leadership and Jared Kushner, along with the American mediators on the ground. And so, again, there's a lot of moving parts here, but it's all linked because when we talk about the Iranian regime, they spent decades funding and supporting these proxies across the region, whether it be in Gaza, in southern Lebanon, or inside Yemen. And the president did have something very positive to say about Israel in terms of their fighting capability. He said they fight very well alongside our forces, again, describing them as the little brother to the United States, understanding that if any combat operations do resume in the Middle East, they would be led by the United States of America and, of course, supported in part by Israel and the Air Force here.
All right, so I want to highlight this post by President Trump, but before that, let's go through the super chats. Sherry's saying, Armin, you look out of place. You need a little facial hair. Yeah, everybody here is hairy except me. Maybe I should
You can get sideburns like me. That way you don't go full beard.
Okay.
The Wolverine
I'll see what I
haircut.
can do.
Armin, at least get a fake beard for this stream.
The Iran Varine.
Yes.
Or
you,
that
Sherry.
mustache from Professor Navabi.
True. Fit over 50 fitness. Thank you so much for the jewels. Boboism is saying, why do women vote for the left? Women do vote for the left more than men. Yeah, go on, guys.
Yeah. So he later said something about like Islamic parties. So I think there are several things here. One, women vote for the left because the left has historically been the side that women's suffrage and women's rights and feminism and all that, like that's a left-wing thing, and so women would vote for that more. Another thing is women have higher care on average, and the left is also the party of advancing care for the weak and so on. So that would be another reason. Now, why would they vote for Islamists? That's because the left has been corrupted and taken over, and they care for the minorities, the poor minorities. Except this time the minorities are rabid wolves that will eat you once you heal them up.
Guys, stop touching your microphone stand. It makes a lot of noise. Yeah. Okay. Some people are saying that lack of critical thinking. Nyla is saying that as a woman. Okay. And Lior, as another woman, is saying women are more emotional. So it's interesting that women in our chat are saying that.
I agree with them.
Yeah. I mean, so Deborah's saying we don't. Yeah, okay. Read that.
We don't all vote for the left. If you look at married women with children, we tend to vote right.
True.
Yes, but
the
the comment was not
women here.
Yes. So the comment is supposed to say, why do women vote for the left more than men? Not all women, right? But it is true that they vote for the left a lot more. And it's again, this is interesting because this is true for many different cultures, many different countries. Like, for example, in South Korea, women vote a lot left a lot more, and men vote a lot right more. So it's true almost in every country almost, right? Okay, so and then we got Fit Over 50 Fitness. Thank you so much for the jewels. And then we got Stick and Beans. Thank you so much for the being a member for 2 months. Saying, oi, I'm a member. Never realized that. Oh, okay. So you've been a member for 2 months and you just found out. Thank you. And then we got Jets with 20 membership gifts to Liberty
Wow.
Politics. Thank you so much. Wow, that's always very generous. Thank you so much. 20 people are members now because of Jets. Thank you. And Monkey, which channel did you just become a member on? Monkey became a member.
It says it like multiple Grease Monkey became a member.
YouTube member.
I know, but
you
Of
know,
which channel?
I should have been a member, but now I am a member.
So Liberty
you.
Politics. I mean, that's the
But
only
no
option.
one else is
'cause
monetized yet.
Yeah.
Oh, no one else is monetized. Okay, sorry. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Well, Monkey, thank you so much. I appreciate that. That's very sweet. Thank you. And then Fun Sun, 10 jewels. Appreciate that. Thank you so much, Fun Sun. Guys, subscribe to Monkey and Guy in the chat so we could monetize them. So we need to get them to monetization. The link is in the chat. Boboism with super chat saying, oh, I don't know how to read this. Guy, this is for you. Do you want to read this?
Yeah, so let's go back to it after the other two because this will
Okay.
require a long answer.
Okay. Sean, thank you so much for the super chat saying, hey, Sid, hey, Guy. Okay, me and Monkey are not important, apparently.
That's Shauna. That's Shauna. Hey, Shauna.
I know that's Shauna.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said
That's why I'm-
Sean.
That's what. Oh,
No, he said
I said,
Shauna.
did I? Okay.
Okay, my
I
bad.
just said Shauna. Yeah. That's why I'm teasing her. Thank you, Shauna. Thank you for. Okay.
It's only
thank
real
you,
people
Shauna.
with facial hair that she likes.
Real people with
Real humans.
Yeah.
real human. Thank you. Oh wow, I'm not human anymore. Okay. Thank you, Shauna, for another super chat saying you only need facial hair if you're married to a Jew. I don't make the rules. Is that right?
That
Okay.
that would account for that. That would account for what
That would-
the cohort we're seeing right now.
Okay. Thank you, Shauna. And then Jagatai, thank you so much for the jewels. I appreciate you. So, okay, Guy. This
Yes.
is the super chat
Okay.
you wanted to respond to.
So M. Kedar is Mordechai Kedar. He has the Emirates plan, aka the 7-state solution. Now he's saying in Gaza. Originally, the Gaza part of it is no longer relevant. So the Gaza part was originally before the war. The plan was to divide Gaza into 7 emirates as well, with specific families controlling them. But the idea behind the plan in general, for those who don't know, is to dismantle the Palestinian Authority and give control of the municipalities in the Palestinian Authority to the specific heads of the clans that run that city de facto. Because the Palestinians, they're not really a nation in the sense that they don't intermingle. People from a clan marry inside the clan. So people from Nablus are not going to marry people in Hebron, for example. And so like they're held together artificially, and actually putting them in their clans is a more natural way of doing it. And that's the way the successful countries in the Middle East, that's how they work. They have clan-based politics. It's true for Saudi. It's true for UAE. It's true for Qatar. And it's not like the countries that are artificial, like Lebanon and Syria and Iraq and so on. Those don't work. They keep getting infighting. And so the idea is to give the Palestinians control of their own cities, giving them total autonomy except for like education where they can't inside and so on, and they have their own policing. Disentangle them from the corrupt Palestinian Authority holding them down. The sheikhs of Hebron have already agreed to join the Abraham Accords if this happens, like to secede from the Palestinian Authority. The issue is that the person who is in charge, who's like the main people pushing for this in Likud. So Likud has its elections today, and tomorrow in my Q&A, which is going to be 2 hours before this stream, I'm going to talk about the fallout of the elections and what it means. But he tried to do a coup on Netanyahu after October 7th, and so he's losing popularity as a result, and he might not make it in a realistic slot in the next parliament. There are other people pushing for this. I personally think this is the best solution. It gives actual Palestinians more rights, more like a better life. Solves the Israel-Palestine situation, because the sheikhs, at least for some of the cities, already agree that like we don't want statehood, we don't want the Palestinian Authority, we want our own autonomy, and we can be under the Israel's umbrella. We don't care as long as we have our autonomy, and we'll join the Abraham Accords. And so this will be like the best solution for the Israel-Palestine problem. But you need people to push for it. Now there are people pushing for it, but the main person pushing for it might not make it past the election. today, which is happening right now.
All right, shorter answers so we could get to the next videos. And thank you, that was good. Steak and Beans with a super chat saying, "Do eyebrows count as facial hair, nostril hair?" Okay, yes, I mean, yeah, okay, I have that. I don't have nostril hair, but I do have eyebrows.
Yeah, don't grow that out.
Okay, okay. Thank you, Steak and Beans. Oh, we have Jew Hater here. Jew Hater saying, "Do you guys see the recent Lindsey Graham tweet?"
He can't tweet because he's dead. Ha ha ha.
Wow.
Thank you for the money. Thank you for funding Zionism.
Yeah, thank you for funding Zionism. You're actually funny when you're not trying to be funny, but whatever you're doing, keep your day job. Not a good at comedy. All right, so what do you guys think about oh wait, did you guys see the latest tweet from Ali Khamenei? I think that is more devastating to you guys, because nobody from the United States was killed the way that your supreme leader was killed. Lindsey Graham died naturally, peacefully in his bed, while Ali Khamenei was killed, surprised and with his family, not knowing that he's falling into an American trap. So I think that's more devastating to you than Lindsey Graham dying peacefully and at old age.
I think
all right,
he did get some tweets out from the Tupperware container in the freezer. There were some tweets that were definitely posthumous.
That is true. That is true. All right, let's go so we'll do the super chats after we do this one. So President Trump posted this saying, "Very happy to see that Saudi Arabia, Turkey, and Pakistan have recently and finally signed the Mecca Joint Defense Agreement. It shows how the Middle East is coming together and how countries will finally be able to defend themselves in a more meaningful way. Congratulations to the great leadership of the three nations mentioned. This is a big, bold, and important first step. Wow, President Donald J. Trump." So it's interesting because some people were saying that the Mecca deal goes against President Trump's vision because it's creating a parallel defense agreements separate from the Abrahamic Accord. But I guess from perspective of President Trump, like as long as you guys figure out how to do this on your own without getting us involved as much, we're good. Whatever works, however you guys can make it work out, just do it your own and get your own militaries involved. What do you guys think?
People here did not like this one.
In Israel. People hear me. You have to. People are new. People in our chat might be new. So when you say people hear me, you have to make it clear that you're in Israel. But go on.
Yes. So when Jew Hater says, "Who's this guy? I like him. Quick on his feet." Thank you. Yes, you expectedly like the Jew, the Israeli. Jew Hater is the Jew lover. Yeah. So people didn't like this here at all because this pact is Turkey essentially trying to reestablish the caliphate in a new way. And it's potentially, right now it's not a problem because we're not going to fight any of these countries. But if, for example, they take in Syria and Egypt, that means we will not be able to do a preemptive strike on either country if they're going to attack us, because that would be like us using force to strike one of the countries in the agreement, which would then give them reason to prepare for an attack under cover of Israel doesn't actually want to go to war with Turkey. So it's a threat. It's a serious threat that Israel needs to take into account. Also, it might preclude Saudi joining and normalizing with Israel. But maybe if he's saying this, then maybe he knows something we don't about, like, this is actually not meant to do that. It's just meant to be a defense.
Would it not make sense? Would it not make sense from the U.S. perspective? Like, so for Israeli interests, this would be bad, but would it be good for U.S. interests like this? Because the priority might be,
only if it's stabilizing the region. The Israeli assumption is that this is not going to stabilize the region. This is at least potentially going to lead to further wars. So, for example, Erdogan actually said in an interview, I think with Al Jazeera, that he talks in terms of peace, like talk about the prospect of a war with Israel, we're not talking about war, we're talking about peace. But if someone attacks Turkey due to intending to have war and not peace, Turkey will not hesitate to fight and not run from the battle. Now, this is problematic because an attack on any of the countries in this agreement is an attack on all countries in this agreement, which would mean this would be an attack on Turkey. And again, we don't want war with anyone around us, but if they're going to rise up against us, we have to attack them first. And if we attack them first, then that would be like a reason for Turkey to join the war, so they'll be able to prepare to attack us with a shield. That's the problem with this alliance.
Sid, Monkey, your thoughts?
I think this in the immediate, I would say Saudi want help with Yemen, and they're not good on the ground. They're more like on air type people. Like if they might want some troops or someone to do some ops. Maybe, I don't know. They might want some help with the Turks. Not the Turks, the Pakistanis might want some help with Afghanistan, and Turkey might want some help with the PKK. So we can talk about the long term. Oh, what are we going to do in the long term? That's fine. Everything guys said about the long term, I agree with. But if we're looking at the short term, who are they having fights with now? Pakistan is now, their latest fight is with Afghanistan. Turkey's latest fight is always with the PKK, right? It's with the separatists that want Kurdistan, like the crazy social communist people that Armin talks about sometimes. And who the Saudis are actively fighting? They're actively fighting Yemen. I don't know how this would play out in the long term. But if you're saying, hey, if I get attacked by Yemen, you got to back me up. And if Pakistan says, hey, if I get attacked by Afghanistan, you got to back me up. And if Turkey is saying, hey, if I got attacked by the Kurdish separatists, you got to back me up. That is another point that should be taken into account. What is their active engagement right now? Because they might need money from the Saudis, not so much weapons. They might need, I don't know how it all plays out, but they have had movements about like sharing. I'm trying to look it up. But yeah, they had Monday and today, one reported. I'm looking at the reports because I had looked for this before, and I had found that their cooperation is leading to on-the-ground movement of equipment, joint training, all this stuff. I'm trying to look at the now of this.
All right, so Sid?
So yeah, let's separate the short term from the long term. The short term, I don't think this is going to make too much of a difference. We'll have to see. If we see some action that we'll see Turkey and Pakistan supporting Saudi Arabia, then that shows that this has a little bit more legs than just sort of a sort of paper level move. I can understand why Israel would be nervous about this. I think like Erdogan is really like broken with modern Turkey's posturing with regards to Israel, right? So traditionally, modern Turkey was quite friendly with Israel and cooperative. And Erdogan has gone. I mean, Erdogan is a Brotherhood member, and he's really gone in that direction. And I think he has ambitions. He's shown ambitions to be a sort of this leader of the Sunni world. Pakistan is a basket case, but also Turkey. With this new move, Turkey is increasingly becoming a basket case too. So, and this move, like Saudi Arabia aligning with Turkey and Pakistan militarily, I think it's a bad look for Saudi Arabia personally. I think it suggests that Saudi Arabia itself is becoming more and more dysfunctional. I may be wrong about that, but that's my suspicion. That because dysfunctional states sort of need dysfunctional allies. And Pakistan and Turkey are so obviously dysfunctional. I think Turkey's dysfunction is relatively recent. Pakistan's dysfunction is basically from the jump. Saudi has some advantages, a lot of economic power. But maybe that economic power is hard to protect without a strong military. That's obviously been the case recently. We've seen that how difficult it is for Saudi Arabia to do power projection and to advance their interests even in their own backyard. So who do they turn to now? I have some sympathy for Saudi Arabia here because Saudi Arabia expects the U.S. to be their enforcer, and the U.S. hasn't really done that. And so, looking at it from that angle, the Saudis are probably saying, hey, we're going to have to find our own arrangements because we can't depend on America and American power projection to solve all of our regional issues. So I have some sympathy for them, but I do think that long term, this is actually probably not really a good arrangement for any of them. I think that they're all going to end up leeching off of each other, and whatever alliance and whatever cooperation they form will be downstream from their own dysfunction.
Okay, one last thing, like 10 seconds or less. Yes, there have been self-movement. Open source tracking shows 4 military transport flights out of Saudi Arabia since the pact on the 7th. 3 Turkish Turkish Air Force A400M cargo planes from Turkey to Riyadh. Qatari C-17s also flew to Pakistan, southern Saudi Arabia, moving personnel, equipment, supplies, set up command links to prep for joint exercise. Turkey's defense ministry confirmed they're planning joint land, air, and sea drills. So this is not just on paper.
Right.
That's fair. Okay. And I think, that's fair. I'll just say, I get it from Saudi's perspective, right? Because Turkey and Pakistan do have real militaries. Saudi doesn't. Saudi's military is fake. But Turkey's and Pakistan's, it's not fake, and they have been involved in conflict, right? So they're seasoned. So I get it from that perspective. I guess we'll have to see what happens when Saudi faces attacks from Houthis, from Iran. Then we'll have to see how durable is this level of cooperation? How much is Pakistan and Turkey willing to bleed on behalf of Saudi Arabia? And if the answer is a lot, then I think that this is a promising sign for the viability of this alliance.
Okay. Guy, are you back? Because I want you to, because the next super chat.
Yes.
Okay, there. Okay, so we got a super chat from Shauna. Oh, by the way, before I read the super chats, guys, once more reminder, check out Guy's channel and Monkey's channel in the description. Make sure you show them some love. Make sure the links to their channels are in the description. Sid's channel will also be soon. Once we set it up, it's going to be in the description as well. So, all right, let's go to Shauna's super chat. Thank you so much, Shauna. Shauna is saying, I think the Israelis
Emirates plan.
Emirates plan. Sorry, the Emirates, the 7 Emirates plan that you guys mentioned about Gaza. The plan is a really good idea. Also, if you look at early United States, we were more tribal. The individual states had more rights. So an Emirates plan paves a potential path forward to united Israel. Guy?
So this is not. I was talking about the Emirates plan for the Palestinians. This is the Emirates plan for Israel, aka the Federation plan. This is one of the things suggested for Israel to because there are very distinct populations in Israel. You have the ultra-Orthodox, you have the seculars, and you have a lot of things in between. Have Arabs. So this plan is to make Israel into a federation with states and have 2 houses and so on. It's a complete revamp of the regime in Israel. And I don't know what I think about it yet. It can also be a solution at the edge cases. It could be a solution to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, but not from a position of strength for Israel. You just turn the whole thing into a federation. Right now, I don't think this is a good idea. I do think we should have more more power for it's called subsidiarity, having more power at the municipal level and less power at the state level. But I don't think we need to actually break Israel apart into states.
The United
Yeah.
States of
You're not
Palestine would be better, just them.
Yes, because they're actually distinct
don't-
populations.
So federalism is something that you use to connect already pieces that are already disconnected. If something is already connected, you don't use federalism, because to make it federal, you have to first break it apart and then stitch it together. Federalism is a stitching together of things that are separate. Israel is one thing, so you don't need federalism for Israel. And yeah,
Armin, apparently the link to
think-
Monkey's channel in the description isn't working. Someone said it. I don't know why it's in Hebrew, but
let me check.
someone said the link isn't working.
Sorry, maybe my team made a mistake. I'm sorry. Let me check.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
It doesn't?
I mean, I just clicked on it and it didn't lead to anything.
Okay, I'm gonna fix it. Sorry. The links that I gave to my team works. I'll fix it right now. Thank you guys for checking. I apologize.
Thank you, SD.
I'll tell my team to. Yeah, hold on, let me fix it right away. What?
Guys,
It's the
link
correct
worked.
link. What? It's the correct link. Why would it not work?
Are you clicking on your channel or the link you gave them? Because I'm clicking on your channel on YouTube.
Okay, Monkey, I got this. Like, I mean, I'm trying to figure this out. Yeah. Let me see.
Ali's link doesn't work either.
Okay, let me fix it. The link is correct, so I don't know why it would not work. Yeah, the link is correct. It's odd. Okay.
If I click it to go to your central channel, it doesn't work for you either.
Okay. Let me see. One more time.
There's extra characters at the end.
It works now. It works now. I think StreamYard
Yeah.
added some characters.
Yeah, there are characters on Liberty Politics on Ali's channel as well. So mine is fine. Monkey's fine now. You just
It's
need to
now
remove
fine.
the extra characters. Yeah. Okay.
It's not fine. It's not
Okay,
fine. Okay.
Thank you
Sorry,
for letting
thank
us
you
know,
guys
chat.
for Thank you.
Thank you, SD.
Yeah. Thank you guys for checking. I'll see what caused this, and then I'll figure it out. How to fix this going forward. Extra characters. I'll figure this out. Sorry. All right, so let me just quickly answer this Jew hater. Jew hater saying U.S. bases and raiders went kaboom. Nope, the U.S. bases and raiders are still there. It's the Islamic Republic bases and raiders that went kaboom. So you need to change your source of news. Then saying we went from Iran Revolution live. We didn't go anywhere from Iran Revolution. Iran Revolution is still ongoing. Revolutions don't take months; they take years. You would know that if you actually studied history a little bit. Saying went from that to regional defense pacts, which are isolating Israel power, LMAO. Yes, LMAO for sure, because what's being isolated is not Israel, it's the Islamic Republic. And also that defense pact is more designed to isolate the Islamic Republic than Israel. And your regime is the one that is being isolated. You would know that if you actually were being honest or if you were following the news. Like, imagine supporting the Islamic Republic and thinking that it's Israel that is being isolated and not the Islamic Republic. Sure. Jew hater with another super chat saying,
Can I respond?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so
What is
Sal, I want Jew wife kindly. Thank you, Sal. Now, Jew hater, I don't know what society you live in, but in Israeli society, you actually like the woman has to agree. Like, if you want a Jewish wife, have to hit on her. She has to accept it, which I doubt because you're a 16-year-old living in your mom's basement. And so Sal can't just gift you a woman. I assume that's how your culture works, but that's not how our culture works. So good luck hitting on Jewish women if you want a Jewish wife.
Yeah. Good answer. And thank you so much, Sci-Fi Paula. I don't know if I read that right, but thank you so much for the jewels. And Funson, thank you so much for the jewels and also for the admitting. Thank you. And then we got another super chat for Guy. Guy, you want to read and respond to this?
Okay, thanks, Guy and Armin, for expanding. You got two plans mixed into one. Given that clarity, I agree with Guy. Turning Israel in its current state into a federal system makes no sense.
Okay. Great.
I still like the United
Great.
States of Palestine. Like have their clans be like little states.
Yeah, I do like that because we don't want to divide Israel, but we want to divide them. So divide them, divide and conquer. Steak and Beans with a super chat. Oh, Guy, this is for you.
Guy, throughout history, it wasn't just one enemy who tried to destroy us. In every single generation, people have risen up to wipe us out, but God has always saved us from their hands, from the Haggadah. Yes, this is a direct quote from the Passover Haggadah. And it's true. Every generation, people try to wipe out. Essentially, all Israeli holidays or all Jewish holidays are they tried to kill us. They failed. Let's eat. That's essentially what Jewish holidays are.
This is a delicious culture.
We have like
Don't eat it.
Thanksgiving every weekend. That's what Shabbat dinner is. So I mean, without the turkey, but we have like a big feast every single weekend with the whole family. It's great. Jewish culture is fantastic.
Okay, so let's go to the next video. Okay. Oh, wait, I need to unshare and share again because we lost audio. Sometimes that happens.
I wish you could be like a cultural Jew, but not religious or racial. Like I just like some of the ceremony of getting together and eating.
All right, so Dr. Abdul El Sayed. I don't know why I put doctor. I hate it when people put doctor in their bio. Okay, we get it. So he posted this video saying, my name is not raising your gas prices. My name is not the reason we're in an illegal war. My name is not the reason you can't afford your health care. My name is not the reason that you can't afford your rent or your insurance. Let's play the video. See
No,
what
the
he says.
policies you're advocating are.
Yes, exactly. I mean, yes, exactly. But let me play the video.
My name is not raising your gas prices. My name is not the reason we're in an illegal war. My name is not the reason you can't afford your health care. My name is not the reason that you can't afford your rent or your insurance.
I mean, that's obviously a straw man. Nobody said it's your name. Exactly what Guy said. People are saying it's your policies. Like, why would anybody say, like, oh, it's the name, it's his name that is causing this? Like, who are you responding to?
Their bad ideas are. And so if the best they've got against getting money out of politics, putting money in pockets, passing Medicare for all is to point to my name and say that they can't pronounce it, then I think we're going to have a pretty good time over the next 13 weeks prosecuting the case against a kind of politics that is corrupting, and devastating the future of our country. We've got an opportunity, I think, though, to think beyond that. I think people are sick and tired of this politics of hatred. They're sick and tired of politicians who are interested in exploiting government for their own means, which is exactly what Mike Rogers did while he was in Congress, making $14 million after he left to move to a McMansion in Florida, which is what Donald Trump is doing now. And we're offering an alternative, a doctor who rebuilt the health department, eliminated medical debt, put Narcan in vending machines for free, and yes, happens to be named Abdurrahman Mohammed Sayed. My name.
So yeah, instead of just responding to actual criticism, he just grabs, just jumps on anybody basically like, oh, I cannot pronounce his name, because that's an easy way to look like a victim, right? Your thoughts?
I think that gasoline is being taxed at 52.4 cents per gallon in Michigan. The motor fuel tax in 2026, homes and property are being taxed from 2.7 to 5%, depending on the home. Healthcare is 6% tax. So it is literally the Democrats that are making gasoline incredibly expensive, homes more expensive, and healthcare more expensive. It's literally their policies that are making everything more expensive, and they're using the war to hide that it's their local state keeping their local money.
I think I completely agree with him. We should completely get out of politics of hatred and focus on our real enemy, which are the Jews and the millionaires.
As- okay, so correct me if I'm wrong, but are gas prices higher in blue states or in red states?
Blue states.
52.4 per gallon is brutal.
So you people are responsible for higher gas prices.
Yep.
Right?
And homelessness.
My name and homelessness. Okay. See, my name is not the reason we're in an illegal war. You people are, because it was the Democrats. The illegal war is the war that the Islamic Republic declared against the United States completely unprovoked 48 years ago. And it was a Democratic administration that supported the mullahs and basically helped them topple the Pahlavi and coming to power. So the illegal
And the
war
HCPOA?
it's not. Yet the war is responding to the Islamic Republic aggressions is not illegal. The Islamic Republic declaring a war against the United States 48 years ago without completely being unprovoked, that is illegal. So you people are responsible for starting this war. And then the third one, my name is not the reason you can't afford your healthcare. Oh, it definitely is, because it is government involvement in healthcare more and more that causes the private sector not to be able to compete with it, for there to have lack of competition, and lack of competition increases the cost of healthcare. So your government involvement provides creates the conditions where healthcare costs increases. Like, this is empirically proven that healthcare costs increase when the more government gets involved. So yes, you are responsible for that. My name is not the reason that you can't afford your rent or your insurance. No, rent is exactly. You are, again, Democrats don't understand how. I mean, they do, but demand and supply works. They think that rent freezes. So, for example, rent freezes doesn't make you be able to afford rent. It only means that people investing in property is going to become less profitable. So less people are going to invest in building properties. That means there's going to be less supply of property. And because rent might become more affordable in the short term because the rent freezes, but it doesn't solve the issue of lack of supply of more properties. And because of your rent freezes, the lack of supply would actually increase, and therefore long term less people will be able to afford rent. The best way to make rent affordable is to remove the regulations and allow people to build and increase supply. Increase supply reduces prices. So let the free market just remove the barriers for people to make profit out of building properties, and the supply will take care of itself and reduce the prices. That's my response.
Okay, so I would say, I think actually that this is probably good politics. So I think what he's doing here, like if we remember the context, he's coming off a rather bitter primary contest, which really exposed the schism between the the sort of like establishment Democrats and this sort of hard left, and he really was leaning into his sort of Islamo-tanky bona fides, right, during that primary, right? He was campaigning alongside of with Hassan Piker, and he was so he was like directly appealing to sort of the campus radical, and which ended up powering his victory. Now he's pivoting. Okay, so this message is directly aimed at the other side, right? The other side, which is the people, the Democrats, the sort of normie establishment Democrats who didn't vote for him. And what he's saying is, can you show the text again?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so he's saying two things, right? He's saying, like, look, the reason why you have all these problems is because of the right. All right, it has nothing to do with the Democrat schism. Right. This is about the Republicans. The reason why you have all of these, you're suffering, is because of the red policies. And the red policies that are causing you problems are being obfuscated by this attack on my ethnicity. Right. So basically, it's racism is defending bad policy. right? So if you think about it from a sort of a normie Democrat, Democrat is offended by racism, right? Offended by bigotry, and hates Trump, right? And hates the right. So this really taps into that. Like this is a sort of a unifying message. So I would say that, like, I will give him points on the politics of this, even though it's not my preference. But I would say one thing beyond this, which is, I feel like the DSA and the sort of left insurgents are proving themselves to be, I think, are revealing themselves to be just really just run of the mill politicians. No, they claim to be some sort of a new a morally informed movement, right? Of cleaner politics and of some sort of advanced politics, but they're using the same kind of slimy obfuscation and double talk and posturing and moral grandstanding as they accuse the others of. So I just really don't see anything fresh from a politics perspective here. I just don't see anything fresh. And I think I think it exposes that this is just a naked power grab.
I agree with some of what you're saying and disagree with some of what you're saying. I think so. You're right that this is a good plan, like optically. This is diabolical because this person is not willing to actually, now that he's running in the general, he's not willing to actually say what he's for. I disagree that this is run-of-the-mill politics, in the sense that once they get into power, they will try to legislate the things that they're for, and run the state in this way, ruin the state, and hopefully people will understand, okay, wow, this really sucks. We probably should not do this again. But I do think that they're behaving like politicians, but once they get into power, they will enact the kind of extreme policies that they advocated for originally. And in that sense, they're different.
No, yeah, I'm not really disputing the policy differences, right? And that's what I was saying is, like, the primary was really exposing the schism, right? So there are major policy differences. I mean, I don't know, maybe even that's overblown, because I think that they have very effectively pushed the establishment left on a lot of policy. So it's unclear to me, but anyway, I'm willing to concede that there are significant policy differences between the sort of Islamo-tanky left and the sort of normie Democrat. But I think most of it is really more aesthetics. So, like, I don't think that an establishment Democrat right now can say Medicare for all is a terrible idea. Right. Yep. I don't think they can say that. And the reason why is because the left has very successfully pushed them into that corner. Right. Yes. Even if they think it's a terrible idea, even if they will eventually negotiate for something else other than Medicare for all. Right. As a legislator, they can't say it because the left has set the narrative and set the conditions and moralized against it. Right. So, like, this is the moral position. And if you're against this position, then it means you are morally inferior. So I don't know also the degree to which he represents a real break from policy. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. But I think my critique is that the way that these guys do politics, I find even slimier really than the establishment. And so they posture as though that they're like, we're getting the money out of politics, but they're not getting the money out of the politics, right? They're not doing that at all. And they posture as though that their movement is about some sort of moral is a moral movement, and I really think that it's the opposite.
It's slimy. It's very slimy.
You had a comment start about this.
Yeah,
Yes.
Mamdani has kept 0 promises. That's not true. He kept one promise, which is to bankrupt all grocery stores that aren't government funded in New York City because of the 30% discount that he offered. He is keeping that promise and is going to absolutely destroy New York because mom and pop stores will have to close down because they can't compete with these stores. And these stores, the only reason they work is because they take a lot of your tax money to subsidize these products. So that's one. And the other is the Marxist DSA are pushing the Dem party left because that's where the Dem money is coming from. I don't know if that's true, but that makes sense to me. I believe Soros was never a moderate. Let's put it that way. And he has a lot of money.
I just want to point out that the Michigan landlord could be paying about 130% more on average.
There you go.
Okay. All right. Before we play this video, because you said Mamdani, so I'm going to play him. But before that, we got Stick and Beans with a super chat saying, Mofo POS, 13 weeks to pronounce Ilhan Omar first.
Prosecute.
Prosecute Ilhan Omar first. I don't understand what this means. Anybody can translate?
So he said we have 13 weeks until the elections, Abdullah Sayed. And he said, you mofo, 13 weeks to prosecute Ilhan Omar first. Like first prosecute Ilhan Omar,
Okay.
then we'll talk about actual policy and
for what? For marrying his brother?
Marrying her brother, like the marrying with the brother
fraud.
is it was immigration fraud.
Yeah, immigration fraud. Okay. Yeah. Shana with a super. There's a lot of fraud Ilhan Omar has been involved with the Somalis, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Shana, thank you so much for the super chat saying Medicare for all will destroy our country. Yep. States control their own systems. We have state medical for lower income people and uninsured children, and everything is expensive. Yes, the best way to solve, the best way, in my opinion, to provide healthcare is for the government not to provide healthcare, but to just give people cash for spending on healthcare instead of running healthcare itself, right? You shouldn't be messing with the supply and demand by providing the services themselves. Like if certain people can't afford healthcare, then just give them the money. In fact, you're going to because you increase the competition, because you don't want to mess with competition. When the government gets involved in things, they reduce competition and costs will go up, and the quality of service reduces. If people need healthcare and they can't afford it, whatever the cost of the healthcare was for the government to have provided, just take that money and put it in the hands of the people who need it, and that will just increase the competition and improves the services, the quality of the services. And even though it increases the prices, it will still, the reason why it increases the prices is because more people need to get served. But it wouldn't increase the prices as much as if you were as it would have if you came through the supply side from the government. Come through the demand side, and the prices would be the lowest they could possibly be with that level of demand, because you're increasing competition rather than reducing competition. All right. And then we got Shana. Thank you so much for the super chat saying, Guy, this is for you, Guy. You want to read this?
Guy, if you hadn't just supported the Pharaoh, we wouldn't be in this mess. Why did you have to divide the Red Sea and cause all these problems? By the way, I did do that personally. I think this is about the illegal war comment that he made.
Yeah.
It's the same kind of logic.
Yeah, why did he do that? The Pharaoh was actually, you guys were barbarians. The Pharaoh was the civilized, and you guys were uprising against.
He changed his mind on a no backsies, and that's a crime punishable by death. He said you can go, then he said, oh, never mind.
Nor deny whether or not Guy was the guy who parted the Red Sea. He could be really long-lived.
True.
That's why I have a beard.
Fit over 50 fitness. Thank you so much for the jewels. Jew hater with another super chat saying the Zionist / neocon talking points no longer works. You all got destroyed in the propaganda war. LMFAO.
FAO.
Guys, that's all. FAO. That's always a good sign that you're on the right side, because you actually have no argument. You just make claims without actually supporting your arguments. And when you that LMFAO is basically coping. Like, you're actually so angry that we're saying these things, and you're just trying to cover it with them, saying
He's
your
admitting his
allies
propaganda.
are all,
what he says.
Yeah, let me
your
jump in.
allies are all 70-year-old
Whites and Jews.
whites
Whites and Jews, but
Okay.
spelled badly.
Yes, okay.
I'd also like to respond, but if Sid wants to respond first.
Yeah,
Okay,
so
then you go ahead.
I want to respond. So I mean, if you know, if y'all have heard me talk before, you may have heard me talk about my admiration for the Hamas, Muslim Brotherhood, and IR propaganda game. I do think that they have done a good job with regards to that, and I do think that, like, we have to acknowledge that in understanding how to counter it.
Mhm.
So, but I always said, like, with regards to Israel, if Israel has to choose between winning the information war and winning the kinetic war, then there's no contest. There's absolutely no contest. So Jew haters, his heroes got smashed, and the propaganda war is a consolation prize, because we still live in meat space. So I'll give it to you. And I have said it many, many times. Like, I think that the propaganda war is real and it's meaningful, and it matters that that you all have been so successful at it. But you really have to understand that in military matters, it's serving as a kind of a cover for your own incompetence. So we have to get our propaganda game in order, or, like, let's say, counter narrative game in order. But you've got much, much harder work to do to deal with the gap.
Well said. So I'll take it in a bit of a different direction. So first of all, understand that for the last 3 years you've been fighting against an open goal, and this is all you've managed to do. So Free Beacon had a poll a couple months ago. Even Tucker's audience and even Nick Fuentes' audience is like, we're chill with Israel for the most part. They like listening to them, but overall, again, Free Beacon poll, look it up. Free Beacon poll about positions on Israel. The people you would most need to hate Israel are like, it's okay. And this is after 3 years that you've been fighting against an open goal. Now, today, this is from today, dozens of hasbara organizations, you know, the scary word that just means explanation, just showing what reality is, which you said you lost in the propaganda war. Yes, we have lost in the propaganda war because you have, it's like pigs pulling us in the mud and beating us with experience. Yes, you are expert liars. And so you have managed to lie much better than we've been able to reveal the truth. This now changes. The war is over in Gaza. There is no new clips you can fabricate that would make sense. And now Israel is finding the counter narrative. And so that's one thing. So there are like over 70 Zionist organizations that are now trying to, starting to fight the genocide lie. It's called GazaGenoLie.com. That's the website of the initiative. And it's very easy because the facts actually show that there was no genocide. Now, young people are more pro-Palestine than they are pro-Israel. Do you think that's going to be the case in 20 years? After this is done and also governments change? Like, by the time these people are in power, the people that they now, even if they still think by that time that this is a genocide, which they probably wouldn't, but even if they do, this will be a 20-year-old thing. And a lot will change between now and then about the Middle East. Now, public opinion matters in the short term because public opinion is short term. A lot of the people who were very pro-Ukraine at the beginning of the war turned because of Russian propaganda. And this is like the hot thing. This is the latest virtue signal that people are talking about. In a year, it's no longer going to be the hot thing. It's not going to take as much space in the news, but we will still have decimated all of our enemies. The Middle East is going to change in Israel's favor a lot, and there's nothing in the short term that's going to change it. And in the long term, a lot is going to happen between now and until these people are actually in power and deciding policy. And we can reveal the truth much better than you'll be able to sell your lies, because Gaza was a unique situation that is never going to repeat. There will never be a terrorist organization that is going to hold hostage 2 million people. Read Ahmed Fouad al-Khatib's book, by the way, 2 Million Hostages. He's a Gazan. He managed to flee Gaza. I wrote a book about it. In an environment that's a hotbed for this, and that maximizes civilian casualties by putting them in the line of fire, as shown by the video I showed yesterday of Fathi Hamad saying explicitly that this is their policy.
I think he's just trying to win the propaganda war by having us discuss him having his super chat on the screen instead of going over the news that we're supposed to go over, and have us talking about him for half an hour to an hour, which is fine. I don't care. But I just want to point out there is $1,269,000,000 in the anti-Jewish Farah lobby from China, from Qatar, from Saudi Arabia, from the United Emirates. That's just in the lobby. We're talking about Congress. We're not talking about the NGOs. And Israel is spending 0.7. Y'all got to step up that game. Like AIPAC, which is Americans of all religions and races, is 95 million. So that's 95.7, that 0.7 being the Israel Farah lobby, going against $1,269,000,000 directly into the lobby. So I don't know what's going on. I'm glad that people are fighting outside these NGOs. My problem is that we're not arresting all these Confucius Institute Code Pink guys, all these Cuba NGO guys, that we're not arresting the 5 billion that Qatar is spending, that we're not arresting the people with the 4 billion that Saudi Arabia is spending in these universities, the 2 billion that UAE is spending on Hamas support in these universities. That's my problem. The real problem. But I don't want this guy to just derail the show and we don't get to any news stories because we're here talking about this motherfucker.
No, that's not fair. That is not fair. I'll tell you. This is exactly what this show is about, and we will keep the show about this.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you. Yeah. Let me to speak. And the responses we got from you guys were golden, and I'm so happy that Jew Hater is here to say this, because we managed to get some really good responses. So Guy said, Monkey, don't that answer was really, really good. So please don't think like we need to move past this to go back to the news. These parts were really valuable. I really appreciate your answers. So, and this is exactly what we want more of. And I want more people with these garbage ideas to come here to say this thing so that we could respond to them. And I think Guy also does a good job sometimes noticing these comments in the chat and starring them and making sure that we spend some time answering them. So
I'm sorry,
and by the way,
just stuff I said before.
No, that was great. Your answer was great as well. But go on, Guy.
So I agree with you that they have been fighting an open goal, and the fact that this is all they've managed to do means that they're going to lose this long term. They've done a lot, but there was no pushback. I agree with you. Now the pushback is starting. Israel now understands that this is a critical front and will use its ingenuity to fight this front. Imagine what this means. Imagine using the Mossad level ingenuity to fight the propaganda war. Okay, so they've gone so far. They've done a lot. Now it's our turn, and we seem to have rattled him because he sent like 4 super chats since. So thank you for funding the fight. Jew Hater.
Yes, thank you for funding Zionism. I appreciate that.
Can I just say one more thing, we can move on if okay. So something that Monkey said that I think I wanted to build upon. So yesterday I think we were watching that clip of JD Vance talking about among other things China's industrial capability. That China has become a major industrial power, and maybe let's say a world-leading industrial power, and that it didn't happen overnight. And this is my position with regards to the propaganda information asymmetric warfare that the Muslim Brotherhood and the IR have done. It didn't happen overnight. This is like a decades-long effort, and it's really showing fruit. And we cannot turn it off overnight. This is a long-term effort, and I think that we're realizing now the degree to which they have, or the degree of achievement that they have, the degree to which they influence the narrative forming infrastructure. We're realizing that now. We're realizing it's a major liability. But I would just say, like, okay, yes, it's true that they're strong in this regard, but their strength in this regard, I think, ends up hiding a lot of their own dysfunction and a lot of their own vulnerabilities. And now we realize that this space is important, and we have to contest this space. And one of the things that we're going to do is we're going to start exposing and exploiting their vulnerabilities, which are legion. Okay.
Exactly.
And if you look at the anti-Western, anti-Zionist coalition, they ought to hate each other. Okay, they ought to hate each other, but they have this very, very convenient unifying enemy, which is Israel or the West or the U.S. or whatever. So it's very convenient because it hides all of their own idiosyncrasies and their own divisions. So you've had your fun, and that's great, but in the end, you can't. I mean, let's even just look at the some people call it the red-green alliance, right? Some people call it the red-black alliance. Well, so there's green and there's black, right? Green and black have within themselves major points of disagreement that can be violent. Okay, same with red and green. There's another green. There's the Greta Thunberg green, right? So Greta Thunberg green and Hamas green cannot coexist. Now,
Yes.
if you look at the West, and if you look at the sort of Zionist movement, you have a lot of different kinds of Zionists and a lot of different kinds of pro-Western people, and we can coexist. We have our differences, okay? The Jew and the dispensational Christian have very, very different theologies, but they can coexist because even the Arab Muslim Zionist can coexist. Okay, so we have this advantage. We have a massive advantage, and you have this disadvantage that in the end, your ideology requires you killing all of your alliance partners. And we're going to start exploiting that.
Yeah.
All right.
So should we continue with the rest of the super chats?
Yes, let's go through them. Sorry, I just got another message from Newsmax because I was supposed to be on Newsmax and they rescheduled because Trump started speaking, and I just got a message inviting me again. Oh, okay. Do you want to read the?
Do you want me to? Yeah.
Oh, okay. Read this.
So government healthcare risks people's lives after the quality drops, and inadequate doctors assigned not for merit but for race issues, and all the woke crap. Thank you, Steak and Beans, for the super chat.
Thank you. Oh, this is for Sid. Sid, do you want to read this and respond to this?
Sid is basically describing MAGA, but is gaslighting these true outsiders, not backed by billionaires or PACs. Bro said they're worse than established. Describing MAGA, but is gaslighting these.
So
true
you were I saw when this came up.
Yes,
was when you were talking about
Yeah.
these new politicians being just as slimy as the old politicians. Again, I think more so. And I think you agreed.
Right.
But
So yeah, I mean, so
this point-
okay, not backed by billionaires and PACs is is on the face of it false. We know about the People's Forum. We know about even there's Tom Steyer, right? There's the People's Forum. There's Reid Hoffman. There's what's his name? George Soros, and the Open Society, right? So yeah, so billionaires are involved. Okay, and not only billionaires are involved, but their state governments, sort of opponent governments, are also involved in funding And the reason why they're funding is because they want to destabilize the U.S. and they share the goal with these true outsiders. You call them true outsiders. So the true outsiders also want to destabilize the U.S. and they want to bring down the U.S. And they often say this, right? They often say it explicitly, like we want to bring down Western civilization. And the idea that what they're advocating for is good governance, I think is very unconvincing. It's very unconvincing to me that that's what they want. I think it really is much more likely that these are demoralization and destabilization efforts done by people who have, or countries who have, or billionaires who have a vested interest in doing that. Say is describing MAGA.
But it's gaslighting these true outsiders. Like what you said applies to MAGA and not these guys.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that, look, I think it's fair to say that even MAGA has sort of elements of disingenuous posturing within it, and this is really a part of politics. But what I'm saying is, what I observe from okay, let me just say, because I think in a way this doesn't really apply to MAGA as much as you might think, Jew hater. So my impression of Trump's insurgent campaign was that I think that he was in many ways signaling that, listen, I'm extremely mendacious, I am deeply corrupt and unethical, but so is everybody else. Okay, but I admit it. And my opponents don't. And I think that actually did have a lot of appeal for a lot of voters. Okay, so and this is why a lot of people were saying, oh, like, yeah, I mean, Trump is not necessarily that his words were honest, but that there was an honesty to his posturing, right? His posturing about this. So, but I will accept the criticism that MAGA is not immune to disingenuous posturing. Okay, I will accept that criticism. What I'm saying is that MAGA was and is a kind of like a more sort of amorphous movement, whereas I think that the DSA and the hard left is much more ideological. Okay, and in that, and what they're claiming is some sort of ideological purity, but what they're displaying is a lot of bullshit.
More of the same.
Yeah, it's a lot of bullshit, a lot of posturing, a lot of obfuscation. So I don't see the evidence of the ideological purity even, and this is the distinction I'm trying to make.
And by the way, Jew hater, I saw you write a bunch of comments in the chat. If you want us to read them, you're gonna have to pay up, buddy. Because he was responding to you. If you want us to take your responses seriously, you got to pay up.
Yes.
Okay, since we're starting chats, I want to start some chats too, because that's what we're doing, right? You said that's what we're doing, so let's do it. I got some chats here from this guy is Fit Over 50. Monkeys can be tribal. Durka monkey. Monkey's a Durka. Like, let me see. How am I being tribal? How am I a Durka? What are you talking about? Like, I want to know what you're talking about. Careful, Sid. They'll call you TDS. I don't think Sid has ever criticized Trump harder than me. Ever. In any group discussion. Ever. What are you talking about? Okay, let me see what else we got here.
We're not doing
Durkas are the least
what I
tolerant.
meant.
What am I not being tolerant about? What are you talking about? Okay. Right? I mean, this is what we're doing, right? So, there you go.
No, that's not what we're doing.
What the fuck are you talking about, Fit Over 50?
I just said what we're doing. That's not what we're doing. And I think he's.
But you told me you being like good comments, highlight them. I thought I was following what you said.
No, I didn't. No, that's not what I meant. That's not what I meant. And I think he's referring to you being sensitive, like that you were just right now. That's what I think he was referring to.
No, but that's what Guy was doing. He was highlighting comments. That's what I'm just doing what you guys are doing.
No, that's not the type of comments I meant. That's not the type of comments I meant.
Following your instructions, I don't understand them.
Well, okay, I'll give you better instructions. I think he has a point actually. I think you're a bit sensitive, and he's highlighting that, and I think you could work on that.
Well, he can go fuck himself and anyone else.
No, you can stay. Fit over 50, you're good here. You don't have to go anywhere. Sticking beans with a super chat saying that terrorist Abdul said that if his name is what unqualifies him from politics, we have 13 weeks of prosecution against the corruption in this country. Yes. Okay. Fantastic. All right.
So he was clarifying after his previous super chat. I think there's a clarification of what he meant.
Yeah, that's a clarification. Thank you. That makes a lot of sense, and I agree. Jew hater with
$10. Thank you for the $10, Jew hater.
Okay, it's okay. Let's say saying Iran victory changed the course of history. That's true. Like Iran's victory against the Islamic Republic will change the course of history. 100% agree. I think you got your timing wrong, but it will. Yeah. All the foreign policy think tanks will never be the same. That's true. Once we get the victory against the Islamic Republic, they all will adjust accordingly. I agree with you. The entire U.S. empire narrative has been shattered. That's true. I agree with that because U.S. has not been an empire. It's not an empire, and you guys are trying to the narrative of trying to act like United States is an empire. United States has been shattered, needs to be shattered some more. United States is the greatest anti-imperial force on earth. So I wouldn't agree with you that it has been completely shattered, but it's moving in that direction, and we have to help shatter the idea that United States is an empire. This is one of the best comments you've ever had, Jew hater. I didn't think I would agree with you this much. Okay, that's interesting. And then Patriot Unite, thank you so much for the super chat saying Jew hater. Receipt for crazy sentences is opium hot. Okay, these are drug names. I don't know if I can say that on YouTube. Jew haters share the good stuff, please. Okay, guys, drugs are bad. Don't get YouTube. We're against drug use. Okay, so just to be clear, thank you, Patriot Unite. And then Jew hater with a super chat saying Middle East. So quoting one of you guys saying saying Middle East will change, bro. Oh, this is for your country. So, guy, this is for you, for Israel.
Bro, your country stopped attacking Iran. What happened? Remember that air supremacy thing? Lol. So why isn't Iran attacking us? Why is it attacking all the other countries? If it's so, like, it has the missiles, it has the capability. I'm waiting. Please strike me, Iran. See what happens. We're not attacking because we are agreeing to the U.S.'s request to not bomb them at the moment. We have won 2 wars against them decisively, and we're just waiting for the opportunity to finish them off.
Yeah, I wonder why he doesn't ask the same question because we know the answer for Israel is that they want to, but they don't have the green light for the United States. But why don't you ask that question about the Islamic Republic? Why are they attacking Kuwait, Bahrain, Jordan, and they promise that they're going to wipe out Israel off the map, and they're not sending them a single missile or drone? So answer that question. And I've got another super chat from. Yeah, thank you for funding Zionism. Jew hater with another super chat saying the Mexican is scared to show his face, but thinks no. First of all, he's not Mexican. You racist scum. And
can
also,
I reply to him?
He has. Yes, of course. Go ahead. Reply to him, Monkey. Go ahead.
Okay, so why did I choose this form? I chose a monkey because I don't think I'm above anybody. I put myself below everybody because monkeys are below humans. That's number one. Number two, there's a lot of Iranians that can't show their faces. So if anybody has a problem with people not showing their faces, you're going to have to tell that to all of Iran. There's a lot of people in UK that can't show their faces because they get dragged in by the UK police. There's a lot of people in Germany and all over Europe that have that problem. There's a lot of people in Canada that don't have that problem. So any fucking body anywhere on earth that has a problem with people that don't want to show their identity, oh, why doesn't he show his face? Fuck you.
I mean, he's not showing his face, Monkey, and he's not even using his name. Right? So
yeah, show your face.
You don't think that's his name?
Yeah, is that your face? Is that your name? Like, what are you doing? Like
his middle name is 5773.
Yes, true. Okay, you're silent. Yes. Okay. That's who highlights somebody start this?
I did. Yeah, I did. Okay, I'll talk about it very briefly. So it's a fun fact in Jewish in Kabbalah, which is like Jewish mysticism, one of the predictions is that the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse will have 4 colors, which are black, red, white, and green. And incidentally, those are the colors of the Palestinian flag. But we don't have we have the red and the black and the red and the green. We don't have the white yet, so that could be a movement. But like that's a fun little tidbit I wanted to bring up. I thought it would be interesting.
Interesting. Thank you, Funson. Thank you so much for the jewels. I appreciate you. Elite 02K is saying, did we find out why Jew hater hates Jews?
So he actually doesn't. He hates a concept of Jews that exists in his head, but as soon as he saw a Jew and didn't know it was a Jew, he was like, "Damn, this guy's good. I like this guy." So
yeah,
he has like this
Jew.
devil.
He
in
likes
his
the
head.
Jew on the
Yeah.
panel.
Yeah,
He's
the Jew on the
he's
panel is the one.
and making Jew haters look dumb.
Yeah.
True, maybe. Also, look at this copium here saying, how cute. You all are so fucking cooked once USA cuts you off. This is peak copium, right?
Yeah, so I'll briefly reply to that. The USA aid that is very helpful to the USA is like 3% of Israel's GDP, and Israel is now becoming a weapons exporter in amounts that are way higher than what the US is giving us. And Israel is going to, before the election, Netanyahu said already this is going to happen, is working with the Americans on the new way to have an alliance. Instead of receiving the money, like the money's going to end. The money's going to end by Israel's own request because it's not allowing us to be competitive in the weapons market. So instead, we're going to do co-development so that we can both benefit from selling weapons and Israeli innovation to the world. But oh no,
right, so...
the American funding. Yeah.
Great responses. Thank you also, Fit Over 50, for the jewels. I appreciate you. Thank you. All right, let's go to...
Hey, by the way, Fit Over 50 also sent a message that he loves Monkey.
Oh, that's sweet. Oh, look at Sid trying to...
I don't believe him.
Look it up. You should have started Monkey. How did you not
I said
start?
I didn't believe him. I didn't say I don't believe you.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Okay, Sid is trying to make peace. Okay, let's watch Mamdani.
I think of the freedom from suffering that Buddhism teaches us is only possible if we remove the 3 poisons of desire, hatred, and ignorance from our daily lives. We need not accept suffering as unchangeable. We need not treat hatred as the natural state. We have the power to set ourselves free. And I consider my own faith, Islam, a religion built upon a narrative of migration. The story of the Hijrah reminds us that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was a stranger too, who fled Mecca and was welcomed in Medina. Surah An-Nahl 1642 tells us, as for those who immigrated in the cause of Allah after being persecuted, we will surely bless them with a good home in this world. Or as the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Islam began as something strange and will go back to being strange. So glad tidings to the strangers. If faith offers us the moral compass to stand alongside the stranger, government can provide the resources. Let us create a new expectation of City Hall, where power is wielded to love, to embrace, and to protect. We will...
Okay, I really like this. Wait,
Can I...
Before you do that, because I haven't said anything for a while. Okay, as an ex-Muslim,
I have to go soon. So.
Oh, okay. Go ahead. You go.
Okay, so first of all, if this is his call for immigration, Muhammad killed those people. Then.
There you go.
What you wanted to say?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Exactly what I wanted to say too.
Yeah, okay. So we all know our Islam. Another thing that we know, presumably all of us from Islam, is that the quote from Muhammad, actually, the prophecy that Islam started being strange and will return to being strange, is a prophecy that sort of says that Islam is going to go back to being just confined to Saudi Arabia. That's what the prophecy at least suggests from what I've been able to understand from it. So interesting that he is aware of this and he's quoting it. Yeah, that's what I have to say. I also have, so we'll do this, and then I have one breaking news that I want to bring up, and then I'll have to go.
Okay, yeah. So by the way, guys, make sure you check out Guy's channel in the description. Also, always check it out and tell me if the links are not working, so we can make sure the links to the channels are working. Monkey's channel, Guy's channel, my channel, they're all linked in the description. Okay, so Muhammad. So to figure out how Muslim migration works, looking at what Muhammad did and the migration story is actually a good example. Like, I'm happy that Mamdani is trying to bring attention to that, because you need to pay attention to that. The Muslims migrated from Mecca to Medina, right? It's a central story within Islam, the story of migration. And then they took over Medina. It was originally called Yathrib. And then they eventually kicked out the Jews and killed the Jews and kicked out the Jews. And then they went over to Mecca, and then they invaded Mecca, and they took over Mecca and kicked out all the Christians and Jews out of all of Arabia, banning them from being in Arabia. And also to this day, it's illegal for non-Muslims to go to Mecca. In fact, there's a sign. When you know the on the highway, when you're getting too close to Mecca, there's signs on the highway that says that if you are a non-Muslim, you're not allowed to. If you're not a Muslim, you're not allowed to go. You have to exit here. So the ban on Muslims and Christians, on Jews and Christians and non-Muslims, is still there to this place after that migration. So yes, the migration. Look at the story of migration of Muhammad. They came, they took over, and they kicked out everyone else.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, so yeah, the Hijra is a cautionary tale, right? It's a beware of strangers. Okay, so Muhammad and his followers show up in Medina, which is a sort of heavily Jewish village. Why were Jews in Medina? Well, because Jews are Semitic peoples, okay, and their ethnicity and their religion are Semitic derivation. So that's why they settled there. They were there, but long before Islam was there were Jews in Arabia. Muhammad and his followers show up, and within a few years, all the Jews are dead, and he promises to rid the entire Arabian Peninsula of Jews. He was, I mean, he didn't see that through in his lifetime, but it has essentially become true in recent years. I think they're I think less than 3 figures of Jews in Yemen. So yeah, so I mean, it's I guess it's not surprising that he's promoting this story, because he expects his audience to think highly of Islam. Islam is kind of like the house religion of the campus radical, and it's an uncritical
Can you guys
adoption.
hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. It's an entirely uncritical adoption. So, you know, it's very easy for him to spin what is a story of invasion and ethnic cleansing into a positive, with the general feeling, the assurance that people are not going to really look it up and examine this. And that's the sad part. And I would say this is also personally sad for me, because I am a New Yorker. I lived there for 30 years. I only recently left in 2023. And so that's one problem that I have, that this kind of thing is that he is now representing my home. And beyond that, like, I guess I have a kind of I don't know. I guess I don't know. Not exactly a fear, but I guess I have a sort of a level of disgust because when I see Mamdani, I think he kind of looks like me, and that makes it even worse. So that's all I got.
Yeah.
Okay, I have to go. Can I do a quick breaking news thing about the Board of Peace, like the results of the meeting? Or should I
Okay.
do that like tomorrow?
No, go ahead, and then we go to
Okay,
Monkey.
so an official in the Board of Peace said that the Board of Peace envoy came with Netanyahu to an agreement on how to move forward. The meeting of Kushner and the Board of Peace envoy with Netanyahu was long, very fruitful, and very in depth. The Israelis will give an opportunity, like will give a chance to the roadmap. And now the ball is in Hamas's court. We agreed with Netanyahu that Israeli forces will not be redeployed outside the Gaza Strip until Hamas has been disarmed, and both and the weapons, both light weaponry and heavy weaponry, will be dismantled in such a way that they will be rendered unusable. And Israel preserves the right to self-defense and to act if Hamas tries to rearm. So basically, Israel got everything it wanted out of the meeting. Jew hater in shambles. And I want to reply to one super chat. Thank you for funding Zionism so hard today, Jew hater. And I believe you got us to confetti. Could be wrong, but just statistically, or most of the super chats, so probably you did. Typical Jew victim narrative. Show Islamic sources and what the Jews did to be expelled. Why do I need to look at Islamic sources when I can look at actual historical sources? Islamic sources whitewash the massacres and the atrocities to make you guys not seem as much of monsters as you actually historically were at the time. So yeah, so that the fact that you have Islamic sources that say this doesn't really mean what you think.
The Islamic sources actually make the Muslims look evil, and the Jews actually, because the Islamic sources show that Muhammad was making up stories against the Jews to be able to attack them and take over their wealth. And there were three tribes of Jews. And they were supposed to live in peace with the Muslims, and they agreed. And then Muhammad made up. Okay, so the first tribe.
Okay, so I have to go. So finish after I go. Okay. So bye everyone. Please subscribe to my channel. I'm trying to get me to 1,000 so I can get monetized.
Yes, guys. Link in the channel. Link in the description of this video. Go subscribe to Guy. Go support this channel. We need to monetize Guy and the monkey.
Bye everyone.
Both of the links are in there. Bye.
I want Jew hater to be able to send me super chats. Okay, bye.
Yes, so soon. Bye.
I'm gonna block him. I don't care about his money.
All right. No, we don't want to block him. I don't want to block him. We got so much good stuff out of the Jew responding to Jew hater. Even honestly, even if he wasn't giving us money, the comments are really good to respond to. For example, this, like he said, for example, this comment is great. Because I could use it as a way to expose how evil Muhammad was. There were three tribes of Jews in Medina. The first one that Muhammad kicked out, I don't know if it was the first one or second one, but he went to their house, and then he saw how much wealth they have, and he came and he said, like, "Oh, God told me that they were going to kill me." Even though they didn't do anything. And like, okay, let's kick them out and take all their wealth. In the second tribe, the Muslims harassed a Jewish woman, and one Muslim harassed a Jewish woman. The Jews responded by attacking that one man, and then they kicked out all the Jews, in their men, women, and children, all of them, kept their wealth, kicked them all out because some of the Jews attacked that Muslim who was harassing that woman. And they basically did collective punishment on all of them. They kicked out the second tribe. The third tribe was like, okay, they're going to come for us at some point. Like, this is like, we're going to be next. So they tried to consider to make a plan to defend themselves. And they saw that as a betrayal. And I don't know if I'm getting the order right, but they beheaded all the men in the third tribe. And they sold them women and children into slavery to buy weapons and horses with them. So thank you, Jew hater, for allowing me to expose your disgusting prophet of Islam, Muhammad, with these super chats. This is why I love having you here.
Can I
Also,
do it too?
here he's
Like to that same
yes,
one?
go of course. Yes, go
Okay,
ahead, of course.
so on this, I can cite the Muslim sources when I say that the synagogue of Baal or Hubal is yours. You're the pagan. You like to kill pagans. I don't have a problem with pagans, but you like to kill pagans, but you are the pagan. I have Ibn al-Kalbi is a Muslim source on this. Al-Azraqi is a Muslim source on this, right? You still circumnavigate the Kaaba of the idols, whose main idol was Hubal. So you are the worshippers of Hubal. You have a false religion. You have a false prophet, and everything about your religion is false. All right. So just to make it clear, I can also like understand that you think the Muslim sources favor you, but they also demonstrate that everything you say about your God is false. I'm gonna put the link to the academic level investigative report on this so everybody can see that your God is false. And it's the Islamic sources, the Muslim sources that show it.
Okay. And then he also says low IQ Islam knowledge. Bro didn't mention the Medina Treaty Constitution. Yeah, low IQ is you thinking this is a comeback because there's nothing in the Medina Treaty or Constitution that was signed by the Jews that made it okay for Muhammad to come and say like, oh, you attacked this Muslim here, so I'm going to kick out all of the tribe and take out all of their money and all of their wealth because this person attacked one Jew attacked a Muslim, and now I'm going to do collective punishment on all of you and collect your wealth. Nothing in the and also the attack was justified because the Jews were defending themselves against harassment. There was nothing in the treaty or constitution that made the Jews agree that when we invite Muhammad for lunch or dinner, he could come out and say like, oh, there was a revelation from Gabriel that told me that they wanted to kill me, even though they didn't do anything. But I got it, Gabriel. Trust me, bro. Gabriel told me that these people want to kill me, so let's kick them all out and take their wealth and money. Okay, there was nothing in the treaty or constitution that the Jews signed with the Muslim that made them agree to be beheaded. All of everybody that was supposed to be a man. And you know, by the way, this is so great. Let me use this as a way to embarrass Islam even more. Do you know how they decided who's a boy and who's a man? To see if you're a man, you will be beheaded, and if you're a boy, you will be sold like the women and other children to slavery. They pulled out their pants to see if they have pubic hairs. This is in Islamic sources, guys. I'm not making this up. This is their own Islamic sources. Prophet Muhammad and Imam Ali and all these holy people in Islam pulled out the pants of men and boys to see if they have any pubic hair, they will be slaughtered. And if had none, then they would be sold to slavery to raise money for guns and horses. This is in your scripture. This is your disgusting religion. By the way, that also means that they consider 12, 13-year-old boys to be men and be beheaded because they were considered men. So they beheaded children as well because pubic hair apparently was good enough to consider somebody a man. This is how vile and disgusting your religion is. And I thank you for the opportunity for me to show to people how vile and disgusting your religion is. I know more about your religion than you ever would. And then Stick and Beans with a super chat. Thank you so much, Stick and Beans, saying the Muslims are a majority, are a migratory. Don't say speech. We don't want to. We have to be careful. Okay, so they are migratory for being nomads. Species. I don't know what to say. Nomads originally after done exploiting one spot, move on, pillaging everybody, exploit or depletion, move on. So yes, okay. So you're saying that Muslims. Okay, I don't know if it's the ideology. I don't think the nomads. The nomad thing is more of an Arab thing, pre-Islamic Arab thing. And at those times, I don't know if we're mixing Islam. Yes, I think we're mixing the Arab customs at that time. Let me see. Let me read it. The Muslims are majority for migratory for being nomads originally after done exploiting one spot, move on, pillaging, everybody exploit. Okay, so here's the thing. Whatever the customs of the Arabs were at that time, that is not the issue that we have with Islam today. What is written, what is sticky and is written in the Quran and Hadith, that is the issue. Okay, so whatever they were doing back then, there were so many other people who were doing the same thing. And I think like what you're describing existed even before Islam. What you're describing existed before Islam, and it existed among other tribes as well. What made Islam an issue is the revelation in the Quran and Hadith that made it far worse, because that is something so many people did. What was written as the revelation in the Quran and in the Hadith as the word of Muhammad introduced moral standards that were even worse than what was norm at the time. Even the people who were exploiting and pillaging had certain standards that Islam went below that. It made it below. Like Muhammad introduces certain standards that people back then, even the Arabs, were like, "Are you kidding me? Like, is this not vile?" And also, it made it sticky. It means that it remained with us even after lifestyles and other societies progress. This is how I see it. And thank you so much, Steak and Beans. Steak and Beans with another super chat saying, "What, Mama? What is this? I don't want to die. I don't know. Can you, Mikey? Do you know how to pronounce? Do you know what is happening here?"
Well, we were speaking about Jew hater maybe being in his mom's basement. Mama,
Oh,
I don't
okay.
want to die. Why did Papa call me Jew hater at all? Why did this mother
Okay.
name him Jew hater? That's like
Oh, that
the
was his
naming
real name, as if that,
conventions. Okay.
yes, okay, as if that's his real name. Okay, so interesting. I'm not gonna spend time on this, but Jew hater always wants to bring. But whenever we humiliate his religion, he likes to bring something from the Bible, admitting that he actually can't defend his religion, and he wants to do whataboutism. Every time we looked at the context of the verses that he brought up, we saw that he's actually spinning his own narrative without actually representing those verses accurately. It doesn't really matter whether it's accurate or not, because it basically shows that he has failed to demonstrate that what we're saying about Islam is wrong, and he's getting desperate, and that's why he wants to do whataboutism. Here's the sign that I was talking about in Saudi Arabia, guys. If you go to Saudi Arabia, you get signs like this. If you're getting too close to Mecca, they give you signs that, okay, only Muslims get to go this way, because non-Muslims do not get too close to Mecca. So you can see this is what Islamic hijra or Islamic migration does. That is still today, non-Muslims cannot go to a land because that is for Muslims only. So yeah, take Mamdani seriously.
I know the context of that thing he was talking about. He was taught the Midianites were the worshippers of the crescent and Baal.
Yes. Look at this. You say Muslims only for Muslims can go this way, because you can't get too close to Mecca, apparently, if you're a non-Muslim. And Elite, thank you, 02K with a super chat saying, "Jew hater, why not join the discussion group later today?" Yes, actually, that's a good point. Join our discussion group. Come talk to us. By the way, I don't, Sid, Mikey, are you going to be in the discussion group today?
Yeah.
I might.
Yeah. Okay, so please be there, because I don't know if I'm going to be there today again, because I was supposed to be on Newsmax last time, and then President Trump started speaking, and then that's why I wasn't able to. It got canceled right a few minutes before I was supposed to be on Newsmax, right? But now they just messaged me again, and then I'm supposed to be on Newsmax. Maybe I'll show up, but a little bit later. I don't know how long the segment is. I'll figure it out. But today I might not show up. I might show up. But guys, we have daily group calls in our discussion group. The link to it is in the QR code at the top left. The link to it should be in the description, but people are saying the links are not working. I'm hoping the link in the description for for this is working. Let me double check. Let's see. Hopefully this link has been working. I don't know how long have the links not been working. Okay, that one is working. Okay, thank you. All right, so guys, yeah, so I might be there. I might not be there today, but other people will be there. Monkey will be there. Sid will be there. We have daily group calls there every single day. I'll try to, as soon as the Newsmax section is over, I'll jump into the group call as well. I just might be a little bit late today. But yeah, check out our discussion group. Anything else you guys want to add, Monkey or said? Oh, also, guys, check out Monkey's channel. The link is in the description. Anything else you guys want to add before we go?
I'm good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Okay.
you, chat.
All right, guys.
Thank you, co-host.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
And
you.
guys, we'll see you again, same time tomorrow. And well, we'll actually see you in a couple of hours. And until then, I'm Israel Chai, Slava Ukrainie, Cuba Libre, Long Live America, Taiwan GIO, Javicha, Payande, Iran.
Iran.
See you guys soon.